induction or magnetic flux density. So as we already know this, that magnetic flux is actually, suppose I take a very small this surface, I'll take a very small area, and in that unit area, perpendicular to it, in perpendicular direction, how many magnetic field lines are there in perpendicular direction, not in any other angle but normal to the surface, how many lines are there, that is called the magnetic flux density. It means the number of magnetic field line per or unit area. So this is what is called magnetic flux. This is also called as magnetic induction, and this we will denote as B. B is the magnetic flux for flux density for any kind of material through which per unit area how many number of lines are passing, that is given by magnetic flux or magnetic induction. In case of vacuum, if you think for a vacuum, not for any particular material, then we denote magnetic flux density for a vacuum with B naught. With a naught, it implies as the magnetic flux density of vacuum. Magnetic permeability. We have already come across this term. So magnetic permeability, we denote it with a sign mu, and this quantity, it defines as what would be the number of magnetic flux, that is the number of magnetic line per unit area is allowed to pass through a material. So suppose I have a particular material, right? So in this particular material, magnetic field lines would pass. So how much of magnetic field lines would be allowed to pass through this material is what is given by permeability or magnetic permeability of that particular material. The magnetic permeability for vacuum is known as mu naught, right? And this is, suppose for a particular medium, this is the medium, so I tell this as M, this for particular medium, and this is for vacuum. The number of magnetic field lines that would be allowed to pass through this particular medium per unit area, right? So there is something called relative magnetic permeability, mu r, which is equal to the ratio of mu m by mu naught. It means that the number of field lines allowed to pass through this particular material and its ratio with the number of field lines allowed to pass through vacuum is what is called the relative permeability. So this can also be written as B by B naught, where B is the magnetic flux density of a particular medium, so I can write it as Bm, and B naught is the magnetic permeability for a for vacuum, right? So this is what is the relative magnetic permeability. Now as we know that this is the flux, magnetic flux density, which would be the unit of this is nothing but ampere per meter, and this is also ampere per meter. So this, the relative permeability, is actually a ratio which doesn't have any unit. Now when we talk about mu naught is what is called the absolute permeability or magnetic permeability of the vacuum or absolute space, and this is a constant which is 10 power minus 7 into 4 pi, or you can just say 4 pi into 10 power minus 7 Weber per ampere per meter. So 4 pi into 10 power minus 7 Weber per ampere per meter. This can also be written as Henry per meter. So any unit you can use. This is the permeability of free space. Now coming to magnetic intensity. Magnetic intensity is a quantity which says that how much a magnetic field can magnetize a particular substance. So generally, as a formula, you can say that the magnetic intensity H is given by the magnetic field, that is B, divided by the permeability of that material mu. So given a particular field H, what would be, suppose this would be the amount or the ability of the magnetic field to magnetize it, that is the permeability mu, then the magnetic intensity H is given by B by mu, or you can write it as B is H into mu. So this is the magnetic intensity which tells us how much would be a magnetic field be able to magnetize a particular magnetic substance. Coming to magnetization. This is one particular property of any magnetic substance. We have already known that suppose if I take a magnetic dipole which has two poles, north and south, and this will have a magnetic moment mu. Not only that, we also know that suppose the electron that is revolving around is constituted a current in the orbit, and therefore that also has a magnetic moment mu. So we have known about the magnetic dipole moments for atoms, right? Inside the atom, electrons are revolving and they also constitute the magnetic dipole moment. Now there are many atoms inside any particular substance. It is made up of many atoms, and therefore each of such electrons of these atoms will attribute their magnetic dipole moment, which will add up, and it will add up vector in vector addition law, using vector addition law with the amount as well as the direction, and it will give rise to a net magnetic moment. It will the total magnetic dipole moment of all the atoms, electrons, they will add up in vector addition wise, and they will attribute a net magnetic moment, or net we cannot say it anymore a dipole moment, but as there will be many such dipoles, so we can call it as the net magnetic moment. Now for a particular substance, when we are talking about this particular substance and each of the small atoms and all, it will have a net, the substance have a net magnetic moment. This net magnetic moment per unit volume of the substance, the net magnetic moment per unit volume of the substance is what is called the magnetization of this particular substance. So this is also a vector quantity, and the unit is very much same to the magnetic moment, that is ampere per meter, the unit for magnetization. This is also a vector quantity. And so what we know, the magnetization is nothing but the net magnetic moment per unit volume of the substance. Coming to magnetic susceptibility, it is a very important property of magnetic material. Now, as we have already learnt about the magnetization M, which is nothing but the net magnetic moment per unit volume, and we have also learnt about H, and which is magnetic intensity, which talks about the magnetic field's ability to magnetize or to allow the magnetic line to pass through a material, right? So it has been generally seen that this magnetization is mostly proportional to the magnetic intensity. It means that as magnetization increases, magnetic intensity also increases, and therefore when we equate it, we have a proportionality constant chi. So this is written as like this. This is called chi, which is a proportionality constant. So when we take chi, we can write it chi is equal to m by h, and from here we can define this particular property called magnetic susceptibility. So the chi is called the magnetic susceptibility of the material, which is what this is actually the ratio of magnetization to the magnetic intensity. So the ratio of magnetization to magnetic intensity is what is called chi, or magnetic susceptibility. Magnetic susceptibility is generally a unitless and since magnetization has a unit ampere per meter, and also field has a unit ampere per meter, and therefore their ratio is a unitless quantity. So chi is a unitless quantity. The value of magnetic susceptibility tells us something about what would be the property of such material. It means that if the value of chi is very high, it means that the material is very easily it gets magnetized. So that's how it's a very important property of the material. Now generally when we talk about there, as we know that mu is the permeability. So permeability and the susceptibility of a material, they have a very nice relation. It's now says that mu equal to mu naught into 1 plus chi. So this is the relation between permeability and susceptibility. So this is the permeability of the medium. This is the permeability at the absolute space into 1 plus chi is the susceptibility of the medium. So we can write mu by mu naught is 1 plus chi, and mu by mu naught we know this is the relative permeability, which is equal to 1 plus chi. So this is the relation between the permeability and the susceptibility.
If you like the video, then press the like button, subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon.